Are your seedlings outgrowing their trays and you're not sure how to repot or separate them without damaging the roots? I'll show you exactly how to do it, step by step. Today I'm going to show you how to repot seedlings from starter boxes into small pots, an important step before moving them into their final containers or directly into the garden. And if you're just starting out, make sure to check out my other video where I explain how to sow seeds indoors. I'll leave the link in the description below. I planted these vegetables about a month ago, and as you can see, they have made a great progress. Here in the front I have cherry tomatoes. These ones here are green peppers. In the third row you will see the regular tomatoes. And at the back, the biggest ones, those are the cucumbers. So, when is the right time to repot your seedlings? You will know your seedlings are ready to be repotted once they have grown at least 2 true leaves. These are the second set of leaves that appear, not the small rounded ones that come out first. Those first ones are called starter leaves, and their job is just to help the seedlings get started. But once you see the true leaves, it's a good sign that the plant is strong enough for a bigger pot. I don't recommend repotting them before that. The seedlings are still too fragile and can be easily damaged if you are not careful. One of the most important things before repotting is to water your seedlings. The soil shouldn't be dry, it should feel slightly moist to the touch. This makes it much easier to remove the seedlings without damaging their delicate roots. When the soil is moist, it stays together just enough to protect the roots and helps you separate the plants more gently. When I was sowing the seeds, I planted a few in each cell, just to be safe in case some didn't sprout. Now that most of them have grown, it's important to separate them and give each one its own space. This step is really important for healthy growth. If you leave all the seedlings grow together, they will compete for space, nutrients and light, and when that happens, none of them will develop as well as they could on their own. Before we start with repotting, I want to quickly talk about the pots and soil I'm using. These pots are the perfect size for this stage of growth. They will give the seedlings enough space for the next few weeks, until it's time to move them into their final containers, either on the balcony or in the garden. You can also use plastic cups if you prefer, just make sure they have drainage holes at the bottom. Without proper drainage, water can collect and lead to root rot. As for the soil, I'm using the same mix I used when I sowed the seeds. It's organic potting soil with about 10 to 20% perlite. The perlite keeps the soil light and airy, which is important to prevent it from becoming compacted or waterlogged. At this stage I'm not adding any compost or fertilizer. The roots are still very thin and delicate, and fertilizer can be too strong for them right now. It might do more harm than good. Now let's start with the repotting. I'll begin with the cherry tomatoes. In the first cell I have 3 seedlings that have grown really well. To remove them, the first method I am using is to gently push from below. As I press, the soil starts to come up along with the roots. When it's almost out, you can carefully lift the whole clump from the tray. The root ball stays intact with the soil, which helps protect the delicate roots. As you can see here, the roots are still small and very fragile, so it's important to be gentle to avoid damaging them. These 3 seedlings are all tangled together, so the best way to separate them is to soak the root ball in a bit of water. Let them sit for a little while, and once the soil begins to loosen and fall away, you can gently pull the seedlings apart with your fingers. If you try to separate them while the soil is dry or compact, you will likely break the roots and risk losing the seedlings. Now we can plant them into individual pots. Start by filling the pot with soil, then make a small hole in the center. Place the seedling inside and gently press the soil around it to hold it in place. If needed, add a little more soil on top, and that's it. Now I'm going to remove a cucumber seedling using a different method. This one works great when you can't push the tray from underneath like before. You can use a small tool, like a spoon, to gently loosen the soil from all sides. Once it's loosened, the whole plant will lift out easily with the root ball still attached. When you have just one seedling per cell, it's much easier to transplant the whole thing without disturbing the roots. Don't remove the old soil, especially with cucumbers. They are very sensitive to transplanting. Add a bit of soil at the bottom of the pot. Place the seedling in the center and fill in the sides with more soil. Gently press it down to keep everything stable. I will repeat the same process for the rest of the plants. After repotting, it's really important to give your seedlings a good drink of water. This helps them settle into their new pots and reduces transplant stress. Be sure to pour out any excess water that collects in the tray after watering. Place them back in the same spot where they were growing before. That way, they stay in a familiar environment while they adjust. Avoid strong direct sunlight for at least 24 hours after repotting and give them time to recover. Just make sure they are still getting enough light. I explain everything about lighting in my previous video if you need a reminder. When it comes to watering, a good rule is to water only when the top inch of soil feels dry. If you're keeping them outside during the day like I do, they will dry out faster, so I suggest checking the soil before watering. I've noticed that some seedlings get thirstier than others, so try to be consistent and avoid underwatering or overwatering. This stage is very important for their growth and overall health. And that's it for today, but I'll be back soon with part 3 when I will be transferring this into their final destination on my balcony. So don't forget to subscribe and like this video. If you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer. Thanks for watching and happy growing!